For this last class, I thought I would put a message on recording for you. These are my final words, the last words that I share with the leadership class each year. It's called the 10 Commandments for recreation and sports leaders. It was first created by a man by the name of Frank Hart Smith. We also knew him as Pogo. And these are those commandments which I think will help you in life. The first one is, thou shalt be a recreated and a recreated recreator. In other words, you need to be involved in sports and recreation yourself. Don't get so busy doing everything for everyone else that you don't enjoy your own life in sports and recreation. Try not to program things that you like. Try to program things that the community or that your clientele would like. Don't make it all about you. And I think also a way to become a recreated and recreated recreator is to have a life outside of sports and recreation. You'll want the opportunity to get involved in certain politics, to get involved in religion, to get involved in relationships or some things in the community. So take advantage of life. The second commandment is, thou shalt be aware of the worth of the individual. Little girl at camp once said, I'm me, and that's good because God don't make no junk. I think if we look at the worth of the individual, we will be better leaders in sport and recreation administration. Abraham Lincoln said, if we look for the bad in people, we will surely find it. I think we can find also the good in people if we just look for it. Be aware that each individual that comes under your leadership is worthy of your time and your efforts. The third commandment is, thou shalt experience the excitement of the ordinary encounter. You see, there are 365 days in the year, and out of those, most of the time we can find some that are extraordinary, but most days are just the ordinary. So the advice I would give you is the same that Mary Poppins had. Take that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. Some religions believe in what they call walking the second mile, doing more than is expected, making the ordinary day extraordinary. This happened to me a few years ago. In the early 1990s, I was working in Natchez, Mississippi. And as I was in a conference in Jackson, Mississippi, and was walking back to my car and noticed a gentleman coming toward me in a red polo shirt. And on the label there, instead of Ole Miss here, it had the Kansas City Chiefs helmet. Well, as you can tell from my office and from my comments, I am somewhat of a Chiefs fan. And so I stopped him on the street. Now, this was before days of internet, so just didn't find much Chiefs news in southern Mississippi at that time. So I stopped him and said, hey, I noticed the Chiefs emblem on your shirt. I said, are you a Chiefs fan? Now, the guy was just a little bit shorter than me. And he said, I used to play for them. Well, my first thought was, yeah, right, a guy shorter than me playing football. So I said, what is your name? And he told me, it's Nolan Smith. I about died. Nolan Smith, number one on his uniform and number one in my heart, was my idol as a child. He started playing in the league when I was 10 years old. He was 5'6", weighed about 140, and was the fastest thing ever. And he was my inspiration that at some time I might play in the NFL. I just didn't realize talent had anything to do with it at that point. The next few minutes, I start calling off things out of my memory of plays he made, things that he did. And of course, he's just sitting there going, yeah, I remember that, I remember. And I just literally drooled all over him. He was my hero as a child. I felt so silly about it. I told my wife at the time, what I had done, and she said, you probably made that man's day. How often do you run into someone 30 years later that's drooling all over your memories? And so, anyway, an extraordinary day came out of an ordinary encounter. Look for those things in your sport and recreation world. The fourth commandment is, thou shalt be a lazy leader. Now, I have shared with you already, one of my philosophies of leadership is don't do anything that you can find someone else to do for you. And that's what it is about being a lazy leader. Develop other people. Delegate responsibilities. Don't dump them, delegate them. Point out where people are strong. Help them grow in their weaknesses. Be daring, but be cautious. Be enthusiastic. Be resourceful. Be empathetic. All of those principles that we've talked about through this semester will help you become a far better leader. Commandment number 5 is thou shalt water not the spark. Another kid at camp got confused on some of the metaphors, and instead of saying water the seed or fan the spark, she came up with water not the spark, and literally made a good statement, because if you water the spark, the fire will never start. As a leader, I would encourage you not to be the person that dashes or kills someone's dream. Help them achieve what they want to achieve. Help them go where they want to go. Man's glory is not in never falling down, but in getting up every time. Breed the creativity in others. Beg, borrow, steal ideas. Adapt. Make them part of your own programming. But don't water the spark. Commandment number 6 is thou shalt realize the necessity for integrity. It is very important that you be a professional and that your word is true. Be honest. Be above board. Don't have any hidden agendas. Give receipts. Man, remember, money is one of those issues. Money, sex, and a good story about the first two will get a leader in trouble. Professionalism says you will handle cash properly and that you'll give receipts when needed. Being professional and being a person of integrity also means you abide by copyright laws. You don't buy one coach's manual and copy it off the machine for everyone else. You purchase the manuals that each coach need. Being professional. Dressing appropriately. Don't go to the Board of Aldermen meeting in your tennis clothes. On the other hand, don't go to the picnic, the community picnic, in your suit and tie. Dress appropriately for what is happening. Have integrity. Commandment number 7 is thou shalt appreciate the rod and the staff. Now, the rod and the staff in some terms is dealt with shepherding. In this case, we're going to talk about it in two different ways. One is appreciate your staff. You have people that are working with you, people that are working for you, and you need to utilize the gifts that they give to the team effort, and you need to reward those as you can. Your staff, you're going to be only as strong as your staff is. So pick wisely and train greatly. The other aspect of appreciating the rod is just some basic good advice. Take your day off. When you have a day away from the office, don't go in the office. Enjoy your time with family or friends or get away on your own. Taking the day off. Sport and recreation leaders have one of the worst cases of workaholism of all career paths. It's because we work when people are playing. And so quite often it's very easy to fall into that trap. So take the day off. Use your vacation days. The country gives back billions of dollars of vacation days on a yearly basis. We're leisure people. We're sport and recreation. Go golfing, go sailing, take a hike, play tennis, enjoy yourself. Take the day off, enjoy the rod. Commandment number 8 is a very crucial one. Commandment number 8 is thou shalt be a family first. Far too often, people get into the midst of their career and they forget the ones that are closest around them. If you have a spouse or a significant other, they need to be an important part of your life. If you have children, they have to be an important part of your life. If you're single without kids, you still have family, either through close friends or through brothers, sisters, parents. So be a family. Don't let work be the monster that your family sees that keeps them away from you. I remember the story of Ray Connor, who was for years the director of church recreation for the Southern Baptist Convention. When he retired, we held a little celebration for him at one of the recreation conferences. And one of the times they set up was a Q&A. And one seminary student asked him, Mr. Connor, is there anything you regret about your years of service? Ray said, the one thing I regret is that I didn't spend enough time with my daughters. He had 3 girls. And he said, I missed way too many dance recitals and piano recitals so that I could be at the church doing something else. And this seminary student pressed him, said, but Mr. Connor, if you had not done those things, you may have never been the director of church recreation. To which Ray said, big deal. Folks, your family is important. Your work is important. Keep the balance in your life. Thou shalt be a family first. Commandment number 9 is thou shalt know the value of organization. Not only the organization in which you work, where you should know the history and the practices, but your own organization. Keeping track of a calendar, keeping track of your to-do list, getting things done, following the proper channels, following the proper protocol. All of these things are important in knowing the value of an organization. And then finally, commandment number 10, thou shalt study now and then. Now, it's not now and then like study whenever, it's now and then. You are studying now. You are in the middle of a degree program that will prepare you for a variety of career options in sport and recreation administration. So study now. Do what you need to do with the finals, with your projects, with your other work in other classes. Do well, excel. But study then also. John Wooden always said, it's what we learn after we know it all that really counts. Another way it's been said is the apple, once it is ripe, begins to rot. So keep your education going. Study now. And then when you get that career position, study then. Go to conferences, read journals, keep up with what's going on in the sport and recreation world. Class, you have shown extreme flexibility and patience in dealing with this pandemic and doing things new. And I applaud you for what you've done in this SRA 200 class. I hope that I see you in the fall and that we'll be past some of this stuff. If not, you may have to put up with more of this kind of stuff. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. See you soon.